The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the Noyantis Usergroup Meeting. Today is the 30th of April 2018. Myself and John are here. Sorry for basically being vacant, being away for the last couple of weeks. Basically was away on vacation. So yes, it was kind of hard to connect up and so on. But yes, we're back here now. As always, if anyone's got any ideas or questions or basically problems and so on, then by all means raise your hand, type in a question box and so on, and we'll get the microphones opened up and we'll cover the content. So that's that. Got a question there, Bill. Bill's saying, how was my vacation? It was very good. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, I'll quickly open the mic. Hi, Bill. Yes, it was very nice. Thank you very much.
Great.
Yes, well earned, and good news for you guys actually. I suppose we're all the same. We sit there, you're trying to relax in the sun, but your brain still keeps ticking over. And I came up with an absolutely brilliant addition to the report control. It's only on paper at the moment. None of it's actually down in code, but it will be over the next, realistically, I would say the next few weeks. But it will work. If it goes to plan, it will work really sweet. It'll work best for a SQL backend to start with, but I'm going to attempt to see if I can also make it TPS compatible as well. But the idea is that you basically will be able to use the combination of the report control, the property grid, and let me get this right, the report control, the property grid, the Chillcat, and so I'm basically starting to bring some of the tools together. It'll be a free example which I'll knock together and everyone can make use of and bring into their own applications, but it will basically be a runtime reporting engine, so you can send reports out as a little JSON string, JSON file. You might want to put them on your server and have them so they auto download. It's really, the ideas are endless, but basically you'll be able to send it out, and it will build the actual the contents, read the JSON content, scan a folder for all the different report files, show the user a nice presented list of all the reports available, allow them to run them. If it needs to prompt for any values to be able to build the report, then it'll use a property grid to prompt for those values so that they will be built dynamically at runtime, and then it'll take those answers and give you the report. And while it's doing the building the report, you'll automatically include all your grouping totals. And if, again, all in the configuration, if you want it to plot that as a chart, then it will automatically build the chart for you as well. So you can click on the chart and click on the drill into it to look at the data, all from just a very simple JSON structure. So that was what I was up to while I was on holiday or vacation. So yes, basically watch for that coming as an example app coming very soon.
That sounds awesome.
I think it's going to be all right. I know Alejandro's got his particular product, and his goes much further and so on. I don't really want to tread on his toes and basically hinder his particular product, but it'll go further and so on and so forth. But this will be basically a pre-built, so you'll it's a very simple JSON structure. You say what columns you want, it will build the SQL automatically from that. Like I said, I'm gonna try and do it with TPS as well, where it'll just scan a record structure, and it's a bit more work to do with the TPS, but we can do a who and a what for the particular columns and so on. But yes, basically you can have permanent filters on the actual the query, or you could have a filter on just one of the particular columns. Yeah, it should work. It should work really well, and it'll be a very good example of seeing all the products coming together as one, as one solution, and then you guys get it all free of charge. So feel free to put it straight into your applications and use it. So you get a pre-built reporting engine, which you can just use to your heart's content. Your users will love it. You'll look good, and you've just got it for nothing. So
very cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
it should be good. Have we got any ideas, questions, problems anyone wants to raise for the products? Oh, there are announcements actually. I forgot one announcement. I've just put it on the news groups actually. I should have done this a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago. But yes, my wife Wendy has now joined Noyantis full time. The last couple of weeks actually, now last few weeks. So yeah, she's part of the Noyantis team. At the moment, she's doing lots of work on the Chilcat classes. In fact, she's doing them particular passes, and then I'm passing them for me to have a look at and so on. And there's a whole host of them which I've just got to basically do the final QA on, and then they will go into the next build of the Chilcat wrapper. So there's quite a lot going into the next build of the Chilcat wrapper. Just off the top of my head, I'm just looking at the extra classes which she's working on at the moment. And there's all of the email set, so it's email bundle, mailboxes, email bundle, message set, mailboxes, so on and so forth. All of those are done. The zip and the CSV classes are done. So yes, you've got quite an upgrade coming your way in the next Chilcat build. And then once all the Chilcat's done and some of the documentation's done, she will be starting Clarion training. So the new Clarion blood. So yes, ideas and questions. Anybody got any issues or anything we want to cover during today's webinar?
My goodness, 2 weeks gone. There's no questions.
I know. I was just thinking. Greg's raised his hand, so let's have a go. Greg. Hi, Greg. How you doing?
Hi, Andy. Can you hear me?
Yes. I must have
excellent.
caught you on the hop then.
I was just going to make a proposition. If no one has questions, maybe we could take a look at putting report control or other controls in the CapeSoft iDash dashboard widgets.
Yes, although it's going to be some work. I'm up for
First,
that. I'm for that. Yeah, if there's no support and so on, we have got. It is on the to-do list to add compatibility with. Realistically, the 2 or 3 which immediately spring to mind would be the report control, obviously, because it's some kind of list, which is very good. A chart, which is
sure,
blatant good use of it in iDash, and what was the other? And the property grid, because it might be that you actually want to fine tune a few properties live at runtime and so on. So they're the 3 which I can see being of benefit. I was just having a look if one other particular user had joined, because I think he posted on the it was Antonio posted on the news groups regarding building. It was a restaurant application. Now I know on the news groups it opened up one big debate about how far you go with the technology and so on and so forth. But putting that whole aspect to one side, I said if we think outside the box, what we could do, and I'll just quickly show, and then we'll have a look at iDash, Greg, if that's okay with yourself. But just for the benefit of the recording for Antonio, and if I just open up an example here, so I won't be a second, just preparing a folder on the other side for the user groups. And then we'll cover what the actual question was on the news groups. Sometimes Antonio does join us on these, so it'd be of benefit even if you just watched it on the recording afterwards. And you never know, it might actually give people ideas here as well of things what can be accomplished. Okay, so that is opened. So basically, I think the original question was, oh, I just need to. Sorry, I've opened it in the wrong version of Clarion. The original question on the news groups was he wanted to be able to visually paint his restaurant in a restaurant application, visually paint the restaurant at runtime, and basically let the user click on things, interact with that visual layout. Now, I've got to admit, you'd think the flow graph isn't exactly. Sorry, just let me just get this. So we are good to go. The flow graph isn't the natural vehicle for that. And I would agree, but there are some extra facilities in there which do come in handy. So this is purely for the benefit of Antonio. No, I didn't mean to press yes to that. Okay, after all that, we'll quickly run. Okay, so basically, there's a flow graph. You think, from a restaurant point of view, no, that'd be terrible. But what you can do is you can actually create your own custom images. So my point, and this is purely for, like I say, for Antonio's question, but again, you can use this for your own purposes, is the control allows you to load different images. And you can put wording, of course. So you could have these, imagine it as a restaurant. I could grab some images now online of maybe a larger table, a small table, like a surface shot of the table, so to speak, and so many chairs. And basically, you could draw your restaurant in whichever particular format you wanted. You could have a corner booth, so on and so forth. Basically, what you see is what you get type interface for your restaurant. So you could drop all these things around. You don't have to have all the connections, of course. This is the control showing, the use with the particular connections. So you wouldn't have all these, but you could just have your restaurant layout visually set up like this, allowing the user to do this at runtime. They can double click. This example doesn't do anything with it, but you can trap the double click, which would allow them to maybe go on to table number 2, double click, and bring up the active bill or the reservation for that particular table, so on and so forth. And yeah, basically save and restore that particular layout. So that's just an idea of what can be accomplished if you think outside the box with the controls. So a flow graph wouldn't naturally be the default vehicle for such a thing, but if you've got the tool set, then it's a very good idea that you could use that. That was just an idea, so just wanted to show that from the recording's point of view. So no other questions come in. So Greg, if you're still there, let's have a look. So what were you thinking? What's your first one then?
Oh, that's a tough guess. Chart or report control. Charts probably actually make the most sense for the most people.
The chart. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, got to admit, I've spoke to Bruce in the past about adding compatibility between iDash and the Noyantis products and so on, and obviously Bruce is in favour of it because and so am I, because any kind of collaboration makes it easier and better for you guys. He's kindly provided me with a copy of iDash, so that's very kind of Bruce. So now basically I can't really say I've done that much with it. So I take it you guys have. So does anybody want to lead the way on it? I take it we need to create an example. Basically a simple example app to start with. That sound?
I'm not going to be much help, Andy, because I'm going to have to get away from my desk for a little bit.
Okay. Okay, so you've
But
just laid out the
we'll get to
gauntlet
recording.
and then left us to it. That's good.
Alrighty.
That's good. But yes, we can make a start at looking at that. And as I say, anybody else got any questions or ideas and so on and so forth for this deal for the suite? Then also feel free to raise your hand and jump in at any point. So fine, let's get a starting point then. John, do you use iDash at all?
I do not.
No.
I used docking panes and such to make my own.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I too. You remember in the last one I did a very similar dashboard type interface at the last webinar where I demonstrated it. Did you see that?
I did.
So again, that'll be an example which will come out and so on.
Speaking of docking panes.
Oh yes.
Just an observation is that I find that docking panes in ABC seem to be very solid. I don't have any crashes. Things seem to load up well. Works great. In Legacy, I'll get unexplained crashes. Sometimes the panes will come in and they'll be detached from the pane, be a window floating, all sorts of stuff. So I pretty much ended up removing docking panes from our Legacy app, but I use them in our ABC app quite a bit. So I just thought I would throw that out there for you. It's definitely seems to be an issue, at least for us. And it could even be interactions with other templates, I don't know. But I was in my development cycle, our Legacy application, I'd be working in that and it would come up and then it would crash and come up and crash. I took out, I just happened to have docking panes. I wasn't even using it, but it was in my exe, the main exe.
Yeah.
I took it out and the crashes went away. So there's something going on there in Legacy, at least, that's not happy.
Okay, so you had it, literally just had the global extension. Did you have, well, you just had the global extension on?
Yep. I also had there was a frame extension too that was on, but again, I wasn't using it to do anything. I took both of those out and then it's settled down. I haven't had any weird crashes at all since then.
That suggests there is some extra code that goes in there. That suggests to me, to be honest, that it might be the class manager, the window class manager, sorry, because the docking panes is a bit of a beast in its own right, in that all the other products, well, you know yourself, if you want the calendar, you just add a global and you draw the calendar where you want it. Or if you want a chart, you add the global and you draw the chart where you want it, and so on. With the docking panes, because it can allow you to use carrying windows as content and so on, then it automatically adds an extension onto each of the windows. That's the window manager class and code going to it. I think it's going to be that. So that, from what you said there, it definitely sounds like it's going to be linked to that, because although you're not actively using it in that, the code is automatically added for you. So by removing the global, it would automatically remove it from the children, and if that's where you saw stability return, then I would say that's going to be linked. But you're okay in ABC. It's just the
you've seen our scripted product, right?
Yeah,
I run that. It'll run all day long. I've never seen it crash at all. I've had it run days, without any issues at all. But the Legacy app, it would crash many times a day.
Okay.
It wasn't a GPF, it was one of those things where it says, your program has stopped working and we're going to report to Microsoft. And it's one of those things where you can't even track it down because it's.
No. Well, it's good that if you are getting it in both, then it's like a needle in a haystack where to start. In that you're only getting it in one, and the other one's quite solid. Then it does give me, from what you said, it's going to be the additional code which does the window manager class, and it's going to be obviously just the legacy part of that. So that definitely gives me a starting point. So I've got a note here. Actually, no, I've got the wrong note. Just one second. Docking pane in legacy. So yes, that will get a review, and I'll take a look into that.
Yeah, and I still have it in our product that's in because we do have a dashboard there. But taking out of the main frame, or at least out of the main exe, definitely settled it down. I haven't done actually a lot of playing around with the dashboard yet, but I know that the dashboard, once in a while, the window won't dock. It'll just be sitting outside of it.
Right.
I have not had that problem with the ABC at all.
No, I mean, I like to be quite honest and open, and I use the docking panes in our applications, but they are ABC. I have picked up a project which is legacy for a client, but it's really the only time I've ever really done any legacy, if you want the truth, especially for app dev. It's been quite a while, carrying 2 days since I really did any of that. But yeah, I use the ABC and docking panes daily in our apps, and I never particularly have any issues. So I don't particularly have much concerns there. But from what you said on the other, then yeah, it's something to take a look into. That's no problem. Right, Bill's I'll just jump back to Bill on the flow graph. Just thinking on the iDash, I think we can, but I prefer to maybe take a quick look at that under my own steam, because unless anyone can give us any pointers on it today, which by all means, any pointers are greatly received. It's something I've not really looked into much myself, so I'd have to learn their product and then look how to create a widget. But again, if anyone's got any pointers on it and they want to, help us and start putting some things in it, then by all means raise your hand and we'll open that up. But failing that, it might be something that I just want to do a bit of background work myself, because it could make for a very poor webinar today. Just doing a bit of research on that. I think it'd be more productive on new stuff. So Bill, back to the flow graph. Open up the mic if you're there, Bill.
Yeah, I'm here. I got a little bit distracted when you were doing it, and you went through it so quick. My only question was, like in my applications, we've got an app for boat docks rental.
Yeah.
And in that picture that you showed, it had a black. See where your background is black?
Mm-hmm.
Could that be any image?
An image. Let's take a look. Flow graph. Can't remember if that can be an image, the actual background. You can definitely set do the color. Let's take a look.
Because that would be, that would be the place that I'd want to put the image of my boat docks all empty, and then use like icons for showing that this one's rented and this one's not rented or whatever.
I've got you.
And of course the background would be static. So
yeah. Not seeing anything on here, so what we're going to have to do is crack open the controller and let's have a look at the actual the flow graph itself. If that supports now, basically it works on pages. You can have active different pages and transition from page to page within the actual control itself. So what we're probably going to need to do, if I go to active page, that's going to bring back a flow graph page. Okay, connections, nodes. I'm not necessarily seeing that, but okay. So you've got the actual dock. I'm just thinking aloud here, Bill. Let's change that background so it's background color. Looking for a variable. We'll just change it to white, foreground color white. Yep, that's fine. Could you do something along the lines of you have basically, what would it look like? Basically, a horizontal bar going up, and then little basically verticals going off. That would it be along those lines?
It really depends. Sometimes the docks go along a coast, so there'd be like a big curve here, maybe.
Yeah.
The docks coming off. I mean, it's just all kinds of different ones.
Yeah.
And
what I'm thinking there, a bit like the restaurant idea, earlier, what you could do, again off the top of my head, what you could do is in your system setup, allow them. So you start with a blank canvas and allow them to basically add the docs. So you might have one installation of your software where they've got, now I might be talking silly here, but they might have 10 docs and another one might have 25 docs and so on and so forth. Allow them to basically paint their own layout, if you will, in your system setup. You then save that. Very simple. It's only a string. Just save it into into a system record or something like that. And then when you ever go to open up your management screen, you paint from that saved string. You paint from that. It brings all the images in, so the doc looks like their particular layout, if you will. And then, of course, you go and overlay on top of that if you've got rentals and so on and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood what you meant on that at all.
Okay. So basically, as you say, let's say you've got 2 installations of your software, and one it's just basically a very simple dock. Basically, you've got a pier what goes out, and you've got moorings to the left and moorings to the right, something like that. Would that be a possible of one type of setup?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you could, in your software, in say like the system setup of your software, you could allow them to paint that as a one-off setup task. To say, okay, this is how my dock looks, and I've got 7 moorings on the left, 7 moorings on the right, and so on. Then you save that, and there's all the methods are in the actual class for you to be able to save this layout. So they would visually paint how their layout looks for their dock.
So they'd be drawing the picture. They'd be drawing the picture where the white is right now.
Yep. So basically, you come in, imagine if you will, and you'd have nothing. Forget them connection lines. We should really remove them. But you come in, it'd just be one white space. You put a couple of buttons on here to say, add mooring, and then it just, it adds a default picture of a mooring. Let's say, terrible because it's projected, but you get the idea. It's a picture that you say, okay, and they say, I've got one there, and then you add another one. Oh, and I've got one there, and so on and so forth. So they actually paint their own moorings, which looks like an aerial view of their, something that they can relate to for their particular business, and then you save it. That would then, and it's only a string with the images, of course, which you've already provided because you've used them to paint the actual moorings, to paint the dock. So in the system setup, you give them the facility for them to paint their particular, visually their dock, their moorings, and then anytime you go into, say, you've got a management screen where they can see what rentals they've got and who's, what's being used where and so on, you'd load the default structure. So you come in and all the moorings would be painted for you, and then you can start overlaying on top of that to say, right, now I need to put something there because that's got a rental, and I've got to put something there and that's got a rental, and so on and so forth. So you've got your default, which they're in charge of, and then you paint over the top of that when you've got particular, whatever the statuses are for those, for those, each one of the docks, each one of the moorings. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. yeah, I'm not sure that would work for what I'm doing. So,
Well, I didn't see on here. I mean, we'll take another.
it was just worth a try. My big thing would be having that static picture in the background, because a lot of times they've already got this drawn out. And
Right.
it could be a JPEG or it could be something else, and they might have 5 or 6 different, areas that are drawn up into a picture. And then I would want to be able to use these images as symbols that, okay, somebody rented this spot.
Yep.
And that would tie back to the database showing who's in it and all that. But okay, well, I'll play with it some, and then maybe have an intelligent question to ask.
No, that's fine. I was wondering. I can't see the actual control allows you to put a default image in, which is a bit of a shame because that would be the best of both worlds for you. We could quickly look at their help to see if we can find it that way. Background. So now, of course, we're going to get lots of different ones here. It's all to do with markup. No, okay, we'll go the different way. Then we'll go into it via the flow graph.
And it just may not be the right kind of control for what I need.
Oh no, I mean, from a drawing point of view, there's Capes Off Draw, there's ImageX, there's definitely others which are brilliant. My point, which was to do with the restaurant software and so on, was I know that they already had the tool. This painter would be very good for them to basically have different images that they could say add a table, add chairs, add corner booth, and let them visually paint their restaurant at runtime, and again then save that as a layout, and then you go into it during service, so to speak, and they can see what tables have been reserved. Go on, double click on the icon, they can see, okay, so that's reserved 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. and then it's reserved 9:30 p.m. and you could have a look at there's a bill for the people who are, so you could start looking at the data related to it. But from a visual point of view, you could just have one management screen, very, very simple. Just like you said about your moorings, you go into one screen and you can see straight away that one's rented, that one isn't, and so on and so forth. Maybe that one's reserved. So it's all about getting information to the user, nice and simple and fast, but pictorial visually. So, I'm not seeing any background image on this. Whether you could make it transparent, I don't know. We'd have to have a look. But yeah, maybe it's a question for CodeJock to see if they support that.
Or could you put one of these guys down here, where it would be like cover the whole screen and then do an overlay, and then pull one on top of it?
Let me I'll tell you what. Okay, so yeah, we just said about thinking outside the box, and I thought, how do I resize that? Because I can get a finger. Okay, so we've got that. So I'll go over the top. Oh yeah, So
that would probably work.
You wouldn't want to be clicking. You see, you won't want to bring that into focus.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's the only thing. You won't want to bring that into focus. But whether we could make one of the nodes disabled, so you can't do that. So there's again, I know you've already got the tool and so on. So if it's something that we can knock up an example in here, that'd be a better solution for you. Something nice and simple. That's the idea.
Yeah, we've done 2 or 3 different ways of doing it, and still they've never really gotten one that's perfect.
Okay, well, let's have a quick look if we can because I'm just looking for questions. Peter has said, do you mean putting assigning an image to the window background? That would be simple, and yeah, that would be if we can make this transparent. I mean, we'll try Peter's idea, what he's just said. So let's take a quick look. We'll keep that open should we need it. Let's go on to here, and we've got our nodes. Let's get rid of some connectors, so it's more what we're trying to achieve. Yes, we're using images of projectors and computers, but we can all see past that, so to speak. So no, okay, so that's the type of thing. I'll get rid of the take it off a sheet, and let's see if it's transparent on the window background. That'll be first. Oh, could have done that in there. That was a bit an overkill from it, so okay. And we'll just drop an image into the background. Okay, so that's that. And we do want a file. I'm not sure we've got one. There, welcome screen. Yeah, so we've got a colour there. Last but not least is, can we set that to colour none? No is the answer. Okay, so that's not going to happen. So now we want to go down the idea of, okay, can we assign one of these very large, but so you can't move it around. So let's first of all, we'll just choose this. We'll choose the Earth one, the globe. Can we make it so it's basically disabled, so to speak? So there's the world. That's fine. Appearance. We've got any properties here which would help us? No. So back to our Kojak help, and let's see if we can, from the nodes. So just after there, from the node, can we disable that? No. Oh, locked. Oh, hang on a second then.
Oh, locked.
Locked. Okay. Not sure what locked does. Apart from it says it's locked, otherwise okay. So just gonna put a button down here, and we'll no, we won't. We'll have it as a checkbox. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that image, and we'll just add that. So it will be something along the lines of photograph set node locked. Sorry, going a bit faster. So what we've got our checkbox on the screen, and we're just going to basically pass that to node locked, true or false. Oh yes, of course. Need to tell it which node. And it was the world we were going to play with, weren't it? Yep. we do tag that. So I can go over that. I can still click on it. So I can't do anything. I can't resize. Oh. The resizing is very precise. But yes, basically, when it was locked, all it does is lock its position. But you can still click it, so it's not going to be very good as a background. So locked on its own is not sufficient. No, I can't see it doing it, Bill. Not without doing a lot more digging into it. Unfortunately, not sure it's going to do. Not sure it's quite going to do it. Shame that, really. Oh, not that one. The only thing we could have is, does the paint manager have an image, a background image? Because just like any of the controls, they all contain a paint manager, and that's responsibility for basically applying themes and overriding the themes and setting different attributes, all to do with painting of the images, painting of the content. So no, I'm not seeing anything on there. That's a shame. But the only last one we can try is to do with the page. So no. So close but no cigar, Bill. Sorry about that. I think the best you're going to do, let's just move that, is as I say, have some kind of instead of it being a default JPEG or whatever, is basically give them a designer of that, if you will, and then paint that at runtime. So if you had, let's imagine each one of your docks or moorings being a particular shape, like a U shape or whatever, and then you can put your icon in between, that type of thing. So, any other questions, ideas, problems, and so on the, well, hopefully not problems, but any questions and so on with the products, with the suites, or enhancement ideas? No, all seems very quiet.
It's very quiet.
Got a nice attendance. Surely someone's got a challenge. I know Greg's already said about the iDash, and yeah, we can start taking a look at that. I just prefer to do a bit of background first rather than do it live. That's all. I'm always up for a challenge. But
I sent you an email, Andy.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
With a picture of kind of what I was talking about.
Let me take a quick look. Sorry, I didn't see that. Yep, just come through now. Yeah, I've got you. So
that maybe makes it a little easier to when you see it. It's easier to explain than me trying to tell.
Yeah, no. Is that okay if I bring that onto public show so for people to see?
Sure.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah, Bill's just sent this through. In fact, actually, better if I move that and bring that in a bit bigger. So yes. So this is what I visualized a minute ago when I said like this U shape. So if we could, a background image on this would definitely be, the best. And then they can just basically add whatever shape, image, icon, anything you like to each of these with different indicators and being so each one of these becomes equivalent of a node, and then you can double click on it to drill into whatever information you needed to show. So yes, agreed. There's got to be a way of getting a background image onto it. Let's just take a quick look. While we're waiting for other questions or ideas, I'm just going to take a quick look here on the other screen to say code
Or
job.
maybe somebody else seen something similar to that, or had to work with something similar to that in the past.
Just seeing if anything on the forums, about people again adding this, or if we could at all get a transparent color. Anybody know what the color is for transparent? So just catching up on questions. Some people, what we've got here, getting back to after 3 months off, trying to. Okay. No, sorry, just catching up on questions there. Roberto, who I think you're actually referring to Robert's question, but Roberto, you're there?
Yeah, I was just being kind of facetious.
Were you? Okay, thanks for that input.
Instead of making squares, you'd have it automatically do all the nodes for you. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be a lot of work, though.
What, automatically create all the nodes for?
Yeah, on that map, that down there, they say click a button and it'll go in there and grab all the little ones with little numbers and create nodes for you.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure.
We want that. We want that for next version, please.
In that we're already still struggling to display the image, I think that might be a task too far.
Where's Wendy?
She just left for the day. But yes, we said earlier that she is color transparent.
We don't see her on the Noyantis, the Kojak Noyantis discussion group in Skype either. So.
Yeah, still. Well, at the moment she's being shielded from you lot while she's doing all the shortcut stuff. But she'll be on the support very soon, and so on.
We thought you were hiding her.
So no, she'll be on the support very soon. Yeah, that's not a problem. Okay, let's go down that idea. I'm still sticking with this, and I'm gonna save that image. I still like the idea of seeing if we can accomplish this. It's a bit of a challenge now, to be fair. So let's drop that image back on again, which we had earlier. So we need to get this transparent. Basically does this. If we go back to our paint manager, so flow graph.
One of the problems, Andy, is that ActiveX controls always have a white background. They're not transparent. and so you can't put it on your window as a background and then have the LCX on top. It'll always be the best you can do is have a white. It won't do a transparent. That's, well, I don't know.
I'm trying to think if we had an example somewhere.
Will you have it at transparent OCX?
Don't know. I'm just trying to rack my brains now to see if we have. There's the control. You have made a point though. We haven't set the colour of that. So background. Okay, that's not actually done anything. But that said, the actual control itself is still going to overwrite it because it's got a background colour, so it's being set.
And that's what I was saying, especially when it's XAML. We've played with that a lot. And you remember our gauges that we have?
Yes,
we tried to make the background of those gauges in their XAML transparent, and there was just no way to do it. It's always a color. There's no transparency there. And it's a bummer because it's something that would look really cool. But we've never gotten it to work.
This is a real shame because this would work really well for build requirement.
Yeah, you'd have to somehow add the image background in the LCX.
Yeah, and certain controls do support them. For example, the report control that supports it, and so does the task panel. You can have a background image on a group within the task panel. So.
Right. Yeah, I do it on the report control all the time.
Yeah, so they support it. So I was hoping that the flow graph would actually support it as well, but I've got to admit I'm not seeing it here, which is such a shame. Yeah, no. Connector type, equate, nothing at all. Background color. No. Oh, I find that annoying. Never mind. It is what it is. And then the only other thing is there any extra properties on here for us to, we've got locked, but to basically stop it from even gaining focus, maybe the hit test. Okay, so let's just take a look. No. No, Bill, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, Andy. I appreciate you looking into it. We've been doing it with we've been using that ImageX thing, but it still didn't really get exact. You had to go in and draw the hyper, or each of the little points where each dock you'd have to draw a little square in there to make it accessible later on. Where with this would look like it would work pretty cool because you could drop into the dock.
Oh yeah, the actual, you could like drop a picture of, well, you could have different types of bolts or anything you like, you know what I mean? You could actually, different status, anything you like really, it's just your own images.
Yeah, where the other way of doing it, you have to go in and draw little hot spots all over the place.
That's right. I have used it in the past in a dental software for highlighting information on X-rays, so they could actually just draw a little region on top of an X-ray and add notes on it and so on.
Yeah, I've got to look. I'll look around a little different because some of my competition has some pretty neat stuff for doing that, and they got, obviously they're getting some control somewhere that that makes it easier to do.
There is one extra, mind you, might be just okay. Let's just think outside the box again for yours. So what about if we went down the XAML route? XAML's part of the suite and so on. We just load a snippet here. Let's load one of their examples. Quite a while since I've used this. Okay, so now it's just painting. You actually want it so you can actually move them around. Because I was thinking is you could have it so basically, you could if we could detect the callbacks of this, but that's another story. That's a whole new question, and I know that Dave Bratovich, who does so much XAML work, is untrue. He's done wanting to try and interact with the XAML and getting the callbacks and get the information. So it might be good for painting, but you'd also want to be able to move them around and so on and so forth. And I think you might struggle on that. Plus, it's a lot of work. Dropping an image, picking an icon, or an image, or a JPEG or a PNG is a hell of a lot simpler than you trying to calculate all this and storing all the information.
Right, and it's not just one. It'd be easy if it was just if we only had one customer with one doc layout.
Of course, yeah.
But when you're dealing with hundreds, it's a little different.
Yeah, you want the equivalent of that background image. You want that.
And then just
basically to be dynamic and then over the top. I'm desperately trying to think if I've made I've seen these transparent. It'll probably come to me if I do. If it does come to me, if I remember, then I'll give you a shout on that, and we'll take this example because it's part of the webinar folder and send it across to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. If anyone has any thoughts on this, again, jump in. But failing that, I will just take one quick look. Actually, background. Just see if anyone else has made basically the ActiveX transparent via the command itself. Now I know Dave Bratovich must be aware of what we're doing because he just said if you can find out what control the other people are using, he could create a manifest for you using his product. Again, that is a pretty valid point, that Bill. If you find what your competitors are using from a visual painting point of view, then drop us a message. We'll see if we can get a hook into it as well, and that'll free it up for you to use in your applications. I've got no problem in doing that.
I just got a phone call while we were on this webinar from one of my competitors, and he and I are pretty good friends. So I'll ask him what he's using. Yeah,
and we'll see if we can get a hook into it, and that way, at least you'll visually be able to get. The image which we showed before, basically this. We'll see if we can get that for you.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Okay. Any other ideas, questions, issues? Either that, or it's going to be a shorter webinar than we first envisaged. No. Okay then. Well, I think we're going to start wrapping it up. I was just going to see if there was an example still on here of the dashboard, which we mentioned. Not that one. We mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but this is type of dashboard application, which, again, just bouncing ideas around for people. This is again using the products, but it can show what can be achieved. And we're going to add more and more. We set out, for anybody who missed the announcement early on, that we are knocking some examples together of basically getting more of the controls, different controls of ours, and CodeJock, of course, and so on, all working together. So each of our templates, as you know, comes with their own related example app, and we always try and keep them all self-contained. So if you want to use report control, you only need report control. If you want to use command bars, you only need command bars, and so on. But lots of you've got a suite, and you do want to start using and making use of them all working together. So this example needs a flushing out, but of course I've been away on vacation. But this example is just one where we're actually using a command bar down the left, docking panes to host the actual different type windows and so on, and then I think we've got a property grid which you can bring out, so you can see the docking panes hosting property grids, and then on that window then you've got docking panes hosting date pickers, hosting report controls, hosting charts, and so on. So you start to see a lot of combination. And the announcement which we did at the start was we're going to release this dashboard, obviously, but we're going to release another enhancement to the suite. It'll basically make use of the report control and the charting and the Chilcat JSON object, and basically it will allow you to do a runtime reporting engine where you can just send it out in JSON format, and it will basically dynamically build your data, group the data, total it, and visually give you the chart. So these are all examples which want to add to the tool set, so you can start seeing what can be achieved. And of course you'll get the source code, so all these can be brought straight into your application and used. Obviously you put your own tilt on it and you do what you need from it, but basically you'll get all the source code as a very good starting point. You just bring it in and marry it up to your own data source for your own requirements. Roberto, you've just said, did you get reg3com working on the command bars in 18.3? Now, somebody mentioned this to us, and the answer is yes. Before obviously when a new version comes out, we put it through its paces and check. So if we go to our tests, so we have a look at tests completed. If we look at our reg3com, so it should be 18.3 command bars.
I had problems with that. Bijan had problems with that. Ali had problems with that on 18.3.
Well, let's take a look. That's reg3com. The license is in. I'll just.
It could be because you've got several of them in the same app. I don't, if it's command bars and something else.
No, the initialization doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that shouldn't be the case. But let's just quickly check that. So open that folder. Where are we? So this is going to do a lot of unregistering for us. Not sure what I've got registered. So if we run this, you'll see lots of different versions of the ActiveX on being unregistered on our system. There you go, that's good. Done. Okay, so if I, in theory, go to this and tell it to don't register, of course, no command bars, which is exactly what we would expect. Now, if I go back onto this, and we'll say use the reg3com 18.3, presume I've got a license in there. I must have done for my testing in the past. Use reg-free com. Let's take a look at that. And there's the command bar. So now they're not registered, as you've just seen a second ago. So the reg-free com for 18.3, I knew it had been passed. I knew it had been tested and passed. And there should be, I mean, I can add whatever I need to this. I could add
Yes,
task
they
panel,
work.
so on.
They work at the beginning, and then they kind of cause problems, and you get GPFs. That's the problem.
In what
So-
respect?
I don't know. I haven't tried it myself, but I did try it on John's computer.
Okay, on that,
And
I
also,
I'd suggest checking the
what was
theme.
the other one?
Alan.
Alan had problems too. Yeah.
But well, you mean you just witnessed the run.
Right.
You can get issues now. What and it seems in the newer version, especially 18.01, 18.3, so on and so forth. In the past, you could get away with using a theme file from a different version of the Kojak control.
Right.
Now, definitely in the later versions, they want you to start ensuring that you're using the related theme file. So if you're running 18.3, make sure you're running the theme files from 18.3. If you're running 18.01, make sure you're running the theme files from 18.01. If you don't, they won't report an error, but I have seen GPFs and issues. So
Right.
that's
what it's getting.
I'm not passing the book because I've physically seen that issue myself, but it's 100% that was related to me having a mixture of the different theme files. So I brought the correct themes in for the related version, and it all stabilized. So, I mean, you should use the latest themes. If you're using the latest control, use the latest themes. It's kind of common sense, but it can be overlooked because you apply a new thing and you forget to go and get the latest themes for that particular one. And it's never been an issue in the past, but I have seen it on the.
Have you noticed that the design, the tab bars, give problems here on the demo? It'll GPF sometimes. I
No.
don't know. Some of the other ones, maybe which one was it? It was a tab bar that I tried, and it would GPF immediately. And also some of the appearances, they disappear. If you try if you click on some of the category appearances there, they just make them disappear.
Where am I looking? Sorry. Oh, one of these? Change these?
Yeah. See, some of them change color, but some of them just make it disappear. They're white. That's what I've noticed. And I don't know if I need a theme file or what. Maybe it was like that one. Maybe I have a white background and it also makes it.
Well, let's change that theme. So that does look a very bland theme. Excel colourful. Is that? Better make sure the theme file's in there. So saying that. So into there. And we're 18.3. So
are the themes supposed to be inside your folder when you do reg free, or?
yes. Well, it depends on where you load them from. I always put them in there now, to be fair. So just to recap what I've just done here, I've gone into my Kojak installation. I've gone into that particular version, samples, and then styles. And if you notice with 18.3, they not only give you the files, but they start giving you the actual content of those files, how they're built. So, but we don't need all that. We just need, we'll have those.
Those DLLs. And you put those in your folder of your exe?
So I'm putting them in there. Yep.
No. Okay.
And then
that I'm not doing. So maybe I've got a problem there.
Oh, hang on. So let's have a look at that, and we'll choose.
I think I chose like Office. I chose
Word
XP.
White. It's quite
Like
quite bland.
That was on the main theme, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tried the tab bar, and it would just disappear.
Well, I mean,
Tab bars.
Different ones. Of course, we're going to be limited to what the actual theme file supports. So we can see blatantly here the ribbon is supported, because we've got the white, we've got the blue wording, and so on for the active tab. That looks like, even with the status bar, that looks like Word 2016, and that's great. But the command bar itself here, that's not really painted the best there, and that's because I don't think they put the settings in there for that. So whether the tab bar suffers something very similar, because if we were to switch to one of the older ones, so let's go more old school. Let's go 2010, and we'll go black. Now let's take a look at that. So we expect it to be quite dark. Both that, so the command bars definitely, they've got the theme applied. The ribbon should have as well. Back to its ribbon, it does. And we go to our tab, and now they look different. So the theme.
No, they actually look the same. See, there's still that orange thingy.
Oh yeah, but I mean, from a minute ago when we had Office 2016, now it does look different and so on. Oh, this.
The tabs, the tabs themselves.
Well, there you're looking at overriding the theme with basically another property, and this all comes down to the Paint Manager, which we mentioned earlier in the webinar. But basically, yeah, you can. This is just changing one particular property. But as for disappearing, I mean, there is a word in there. I don't know if on the webinar it's coming across, but it's very faint. But the wording is still there. But these are just style attributes.
Mine were totally white, like that. See them? See how they're white now? They're still there. The tabs are still there.
Oh no, I mean Visio. So I'd expect that to happen, because Visio, they basically they are like concertinaed. So no, Visio is supposed to work like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. No, you're at the limitation of what you're choosing. So you've got a theme file which doesn't support that particular.
I probably need to put those DLLs in there.
You'll definitely need the related DLLs. 100%. Yeah, I would recommend that.
Because I think I used the XP theme, which doesn't need them.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no, sorry, no, it doesn't. It's built in, of course.
Yeah, and that's when they turned white. It seems to me.
Okay. XP, yeah. So.
Not Office, Windows.
Oh, sorry. 1 second. Let's take a look.
It's up at the top, I think. Native Windows. Yeah, that's what I was using. And
well, again, you'd have to look at the documentation to see what is technically supported.
Right.
Yeah.
In my case, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah. So, well,
exactly.
You could argue the point. It was Kojak, not me. But if you could argue the point, okay, you've told Native XP, did the page access 2007 actually exist?
Exactly.
And so on. So I think you might just be having a bad combination.
Right. Well, it used to work with like 16 and so on with no problems, but now it doesn't.
The thing so it depends on what on the control and the implementant. Yeah.
Right. So I think I just need to copy the styles, the themes, anyways, theme files, and just use one of those instead of the.
I'd bring it more, native WinXP. I wouldn't be using that. Bring it a bit more modern,
Right. Yeah, that's what I need to do.
So.
Precisely. Oh, Dave Bratovich is asking about something Bill Rollins.
I've just said that a minute ago to Bill if he finds out the control. Yeah.
About the RCMG control and so on. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He was just asking me, and I'm like, I don't know. I came here late, so he might have already said something.
No, I just said to Bill, if he finds out what his competitors are using, we can take a look, and if it needs a manifest, can use Dave's application for a manifest. So, yeah, we'll pull together the community and we'll get it sorted, if it can be done.
Okay.
Okay. Bijan is here. Just a quick question. So, Hi.
Hi, Andy. How are you doing?
Yes, good yourself.
Good, good, good. Hi, everybody.
Hello,
Yeah, I just
Peter.
have a quick question on that the HTML editor, the embeds. Were you able to figure out about that backspace? Because we are using it so much now. It's like every day I'm in there now typing, and I keep running to that situation where I can't use the backspace. Were you able to figure that out?
Truthfully, no. Oh, we can take one. Have I got a particular? I've got one idea we could quickly try now.
Okay.
If I can find, a utility. Just bear with 1 second.
Actually, it's the delete. Obviously, that's the one that I'm
The
having
del
problem.
key. Yeah.
Backspace does work. Yeah, the delete is the main issue. Because I'm just so used to using the delete key, so
And as you say, in their examples, it works.
it
So,
works. Yeah, it does now.
okay, so I'm just trying to the particular utility which we've done and we've sent out in the past at webinars. So I'm just trying to actually see if I can find it. Crikey, it's going to be annoying. Apps, clarions, conferences.
Because I'm typing in there every day now. when I'm sending my emails from the little CRM program that I have, I'm using that as the editor.
I'm still trying to find it actually. Won't be a second. I'll just navigation. No, they're the training apps. No, okay, we'll try it a different way. Okay.
Sure.
Right, so master examples HTML editor. Oh, let's go into that.
Workarounds are my middle name. I'm gonna start
Yeah.
charging royalties for doing that.
Yes. How are you, Roberto? How are you doing,
Okay.
Roberto? Good, good.
I'm okay. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, yes. Are you using the editor, Roberto?
Nope.
It's really nice.
That's
I
fine.
mean,
Yeah. I've seen it. I
a
mean,
lot of nice features.
Dave's
Okay.
probably the guy that uses it the most, but yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, the HTML one.
Yeah, it's really
Oh.
cool.
just gonna try. I don't really matter. Just put it on there.
Is that a Kojak one or is that for the bit?
No.
No, it's NBit.
The embed, yeah.
Okay, so what I just did there, that one calls blank editor. This can call del test. Now, just went into the editor, and yeah, of course the backspace, but it's this del which seems to be causing the issue. So I just want to know: is it something we're doing, Clarion's doing, or is
Yes.
Basically where the fault lies, and then of course we can start looking at the fix. Because if you remember in previous webinars, we've actually put some code in there to detect that key, and we're just not getting the keystroke. If we could detect it, we could code it. So
yes, that's a good workaround.
So let's take a quick look. Just want a simple window. That'll do. And we get another window open over here. That's that. Okay, so very, very rough and ready. Obviously no callback events, no nothing. We're just going to drop that control on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be the actual HTML editor. No. Hang on a second. I've called it the wrong name. Sorry about that. It's not called that, of course it's not. It's called that. Thank you. So what I'm thinking now is, no, it's got to be how Clarian's doing it, because I don't know if you can hear, but I'm pressing the del key.
Yes.
Backspace. So we're getting that, but we're just not getting the del. Now I know when we did, the callbacks and so on and so forth, that we're just not getting that key pass being fed back to us. Interesting. I can't do the escape neither. Just put a couple of things on that window so I can. It seems to be eating the keystrokes.
Pac-Man. Did you ever see that Pac-Man virus back in the 80s?
Oh.
Maybe
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah.
So okay. Don't like how it's not actually allowing me to move it around.
So what happens when you press the delete key, or what?
Yeah, it's just not. It's eating that. It's also eating the escape key.
I would press Control Delete or Shift Delete.
We'll try that in a second. Yeah.
You can try that.
Now, what have we got here? Compatibility. Let's try some of these. See if any of these. Bear in mind, we've taken the class out of the equation here. We're just straightforward.
Yes. Yeah, Shift Delete doesn't work. Yeah.
No. It's just taking the keystrokes. That's no problem. But it's just eating that. So there's going to be very little we can do on it. Not that you want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe can we do anything at the window level and put an alert on?
Oh, I see. Yeah, hopefully that will work.
Okay, so, and we might have to put it on the control itself as well. Alert control C. No.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll just put some code in. And under the control itself, with that in focus, okay, we could trap it at a window level. So it might be something that we could do there.
I see.
Okay, gives us food for thought. I'll just
Okay.
do one final test in a second.
Okay. I'm almost there. I mean, it's a perfect tool. It's just that one little thing. Every day I'm running into it now because I use it every day now.
So
Yeah.
if we just try on
Myself. Yeah.
the blank editor, and again we'll put it at the window level. Now, of course, all the class will have initialized and so on and so forth.
I
So,
see.
and we can put the alert on via the code, so you won't have to do anything. That's no problem. The alert, let's just try it on there. So on the blank editor, we've got some stuff. I've got the del, and it should bring it back into focus. Okay, that was a shame. Just have a look at what class methods we've got available to us. Okay, just an idea then. Nope, not that one. Select text. It wants we want the current position. Okay, just to test it here, I'm going to get it so it deletes the fourth character. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I've got A, B, C, D, E, F, I'm at the fourth one, and I press the del. Okay, might need to work that.
Zero based or something.
Yeah, but you get the idea. I'm just wondering whether we could actually do
Yes.
something like this. I'm going to take that select control out. hit the del, I expect the D to disappear. So we can just get your position, that'll be a fix. So, how do we determine the current position?
So is that a problem in the com part of it?
No, it's we know that it works in other languages.
Oh.
It's basically on the OLE container in Clarion. That was the other window I did a minute ago where I took our class out of the equation. I just dropped an OLE container on the screen and got it to fire up the control, and the del key was being basically sucked up, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so n bit n. So basically, I'm looking for.
So you don't think soft velocity will fix that real quick?
Oh, I don't know.
Andy still's got hopes.
Gotta have hope.
I've lost all mine.
Don't hold your breath. You know.
Yeah.
It's going to be annoying. It's going to be like the bill thing earlier. We're going to be so close. I just need to know where the current position is.
Get current. There was
Current
one. Get current
selection,
selection. Oh, that's current selection.
As a boolean, true as a variant. But it might give it back to you, even if it's a current selection. It might give you the position back. Oh, but it's true or false. It's gonna, it's gonna say if it's selected or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it knows where it is because you've got insert at cursor. It'd be nice to have delete at cursor.
But wouldn't that work? Insert at cursor? It should give you back the location, right? But maybe it doesn't give you back the location.
No, you have given me an idea though. Okay, this is very, very rubbish, but insert at cursor.
Before selection.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to do XX. And I'm going to delete. Select
Three of them.
text. I still want a position.
Yeah.
Oh no, no, it still wants a position.
No, insert a cursor is in the property, so you can't get it back. Or will it give you a property back?
No.
Well,
no, I was
no?
hoping that would move out. That would move the cursor. That would work from the moving of the cursor point of view. But it's not that. I just want to know what the actual position is. Got a subclass. No. That would save us subclassing it though ourselves.
Wait. If it's insert at cursor, just insert anything and just do the cut. Don't select the text.
Yeah, but I want to do the next character after that.
But it'll do it on the position itself if you don't select it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Yeah, if it.
Yeah, just take that line out and try it. It'll add the 2 X's, but just add I don't know, a blank or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've added the X's.
Yeah, but it's not getting rid of the E.
Right, it's not cutting. You do need to select first, yeah.
Yeah, you need to select. Let me speak to Richard and see if he'll add a delete at cursor for us.
Yes, that would help. Yeah.
Then we can trap it and basically do it ourselves.
Yeah, or he might know a workaround too.
Well, he's not aware of it because he's other languages it's working in. It's just our container.
Maybe. Yeah. Is he just using Microsoft products or what? Looks like Visual Studio stuff. Yeah.
Select text. We've got his help. Won't be a second. Just having a look at cursor. Got insert at cursor. No. Okay, so there's no mention, just looking in their help, there's only a few mentions of cursor. So let's have a quick look in the position, see if that actually helps us. No. So we can't get that position back as a property. So we basically need a couple of methods: get cursor position and delete it cursor, and that would work perfect for us. Then I'm sure he'd look at that.
Okay, sounds good.
I shall drop him an email and see. If that's what we're on now, because he's in Australia. So I might do it. I might do it now, or I might do it first thing in the morning. So by next week we'll see where we stand.
Sounds good.
So okay, right. We shall start wrapping it up. It's a bank holiday, a public holiday here in the UK next week, but that's no problem. We'll still do it. So basically, we'll see you all next week.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for attending. Hopefully you saw some ideas and saw something to, got something from it. So until next week, thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.